Hi and welcome to pmplounge.com. We are continuing today one of the previous reports that we have already discussed, known as BRM or Benefits Realization Management. These reports deal with how projects that are being managed take care of the benefits and make sure that the benefits are realized. I'll link to the videos that we have done on this report in the description below, so you can go over and check out our previous videos on it so that you have a perspective of what this video is talking about. Now, today we are going to discuss who is responsible for project benefits management. Now, we talk about benefits management, that means making sure those benefits are realized, making sure if there are any issues, they are communicated, making sure that benefits are basically on track as far as the projects go. So, the benefits here basically mean the benefits that a customer, a user, and ultimately everyone who is going to use the end product of a project is going to derive out of that product. So those are the benefits. And who is responsible for the project to make sure that those benefits are managed effectively and are basically achieved, right? So the other thing I'd like to add here before we get started is the fact that this is a free report and it's available on pmi.org, the official PMI website, and I'll share the direct link to this report in the description so you can go over and download your own copy. All copyrights acknowledged, no copyrights infringement intended. Let's get started. So let's hit the nail right on the coffin. Responsibility for project benefits management. If you see role, project manager, first column itself is of course role, which is project manager. The second one, revisiting expected benefits, 46% is what project manager comes up with, right? So 46% is the figure for which a project manager is responsible to make sure he revisits the expected benefits out of the project. Communicating benefits related issues with business owners, 63%. And ensuring project benefits stay aligned to organizations' strategic objectives, 38%. So there you have it. This is basically a result of the PMI survey, and the PMI surveys are typically global surveys across industries and are done at a very large scale. So when you see a figure like this, and this is of course right out of the report that we are discussing here. So if you see a figure like this, that means globally across industries, project manager is the first person responsible to make sure that he revisits the expected benefits out of a project, make sure he communicates the benefits related issues with business owners, and makes sure that project benefits stay aligned to organizations' strategic objectives. Other figures you can quickly note down and or have a quick look at them. We have business owner, we have executive sponsor, other senior management designee, you've got PMO staff, PMO director, other not done in the organization is also an option, right? So that's like I said, that's the nail on the coffin, right? The responsibility of project benefit management lies with the project manager. Let's move on. So what are some of the roles that we just saw? So executive sponsor is a role, which means ensures the project or program produces maximum value for the organization. So that is the task of the executive sponsor. Benefits or business owner takes overall responsibility for monitoring and measuring benefits and ensuring they are achieved as well. While project manager leads the team responsible for achieving the project objectives, We've got program manager who maintains responsibility for the leadership, conduct, and performance of a program. We've got portfolio manager who establishes, balances, monitors, and controls portfolio components in order to achieve strategic business objectives. So those are some of the roles which are involved in realizing the benefits out of a project. I found this really helpful and really on point. That's why I'm including this quote here. Project managers should be the primary whistleblowers on projects that they believe will no longer achieve their promised intention, regardless of money, resources, and time that have been invested to date. So, project managers should be the front runners when it comes to communication, right? And this is being said by Michael R. Ward, business process improvement IT strategist, independent consultant. I'll I'll circle back to this quote because I'd like to show two more graphs before we go back to this quote, as it'll make much more sense then. In your organization, who is primarily responsible for revisiting the expected benefits during the execution of the project? 46% said project manager. This is what we've learned previously as well. You've got 14% business owner, executive sponsor, 14% other senior management designing, 9% PMO, 8% PMO director, 4% other, 1%, and this is not done in our organization, is 5%. Numbers may not sum to 100% due to rounding. So we discussed this. I thought of adding this graph as well so that it's much more clearer. Let's look at yet another graph. Who is primarily responsible for communicating with business owners and keeping them informed about benefits related issues during project execution? 63% believe that it has to be project manager. Other senior management designee, 12%, executive sponsor, 9%, PMO staff, 9%, PMO director, 5%, other is 1%. This is not done in our organization. That's like the worst that can happen in your organization if you're not communicating to the business owners and informing them that the benefits are not going to be realized in a certain project. That's like the worst that can happen to any organization or any project. But anyways, it's the ultimate responsibility of the project manager to make sure that the communication is taking place and the communication is absolutely on point. So here again, the quote again, I wanted to revisit this quote so that we emphasize on the word whistleblowers that is used here. Project managers should be the primary whistleblowers, which means basically the people who should be communicating on projects that they believe will no longer achieve their promised intention, regardless of the money, resources, and time that have been invested to date. Take a note of the last line, regardless of the money, resources, and time that have been invested to date. So you don't have to keep that in mind when you go and communicate this to any of the business owners, right? Any of the higher management, the executive management. You should not be worried about the money, resources, and time that have been invested. If the benefits are not going to be realized, it is your duty, it is on your shoulder to make sure that you are communicating this to all the stakeholders, right? The other thing is in terms of PMP and in terms of PMBOK as well, it clearly says that sunk costs, which means the the money, the resources, the time that have been already invested in a project should not be considered when it comes to canceling a project or making sure that the project goes on. So these are sunk costs. These should not be considered, and that is what we see here in this quote as well, regardless of the money, resources, and time that have been invested to date. So these resources, this time, the amount of money is sunk cost, and you should not consider it. If you see in your project that the project is not realizing the benefits, you are responsible for managing those benefits. You are responsible for the management of your project benefits, and you should be the whistleblower. You should be the bearer of the news. You should be the one making sure that communication is taking place. And that is all that we had in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. Do go over other videos on business realization, benefits realization management, that is BRM. I'll link to it in the description. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. And as always, do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.